Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I am Patience Okori. Are you ready to start your tech journey but not sure on how to set up your coding environment? Whether you're dreaming to become a developer, launch your startup, or you just want to build cool stuff, you're at the right spot. In today's video, I'll walk you through everything you need to set your tech space as a pro and then start writing your code in confidence. What do you stand to gain in this video? In this video, I'm going to be teaching you a lot, the different tools you need to set up your coding environment. We're going to be downloading those tools. I'll walk you through the interface of all these tools. And then not to forget, I'm going to be explaining a little about Git and GitHub, and then we are going to be creating a GitHub account.
House. Let's set the environment fit for you to start writing your line of code. So we'll be looking at the tools we need to achieve this. So what are these tools you'll be needing? We'll be installing Git. We'll create a GitHub account. We'll install Visual Studio. If you don't have a browser, either Chrome or Firefox, you will install one and then we'll install Node.js. Subsequently, we'll still install more apps as time goes on. So, what is this Git? Why do we need it? Git is actually it's more like it's a software you use to be able to track your coding, to see what you've done, to track every step of your coding journey. Yes, and why do you need those gates? To track your progress, to try new things without fear, and then work with others. As I said earlier on, Git is used to track your progress. So you push every work you do, you push, and then it helps you track it. It helps you to try new things without fear. Take for instance, you're creating a to-do list, and then the button you've created a to-do list. It's working perfect. The button is working perfect, but you wanted to add hover to the button. And after adding your hover to the button, you try to run your code, and voila, there's an error. You tried everything to debug, you can't get the specific error code. What do? Git helps you to retract back one step, or it helps you to retract to when the code was working. And then from there, you can go back and see you to ensure that you you debug that error. So, and also, as I said, we'll be creating a GitHub account. Why do you need a GitHub account? Or what is a GitHub account? Actually, a GitHub account is an account you need to save all the work you do, all the lines of code you write, all the apps you build, all the projects you run, you save it on your GitHub. Take for instance, your Dropbox. I believe you know Dropbox, or your Google Drive. You know you save a lot of things on Google Drive. Anytime you need it, you go there. Even if when you misplace your phone, you can still go back to Google Drive and get back all your documents that have been saved, all your pictures that have been saved on Google Drive. So also is your GitHub. Even if your system crashes, even if you misplace your system, you sold your system, and then you want to get back your files, you just go back to GitHub and then you pull back or you clone all those files back to your local machine. So why do you need GitHub? To save and back up your code online. Yes, it's a cloud based environment. Another thing is you need it to share your projects with the world. A lot of times when you go to apply for jobs, they always request employers request for your GitHub account. Yes. They always request for you to see so that they can be able to see all the work you've done, all the projects you've worked on. they can be able to see it. So, and it also helps you to collaborate with other developers. Yes, which is very interesting. With GitHub, you can be able to work with others. Take for instance, you want to build a blog, and you have a friend or say a colleague you want to build the work with. You want to do division of labor. You are handling one part, and then your colleague is handling another part. You need GitHub for you both to be organized so that there will not be confusion. Once you push, your colleague will pull, and once your colleague push, you pull. Before you do that, you try to check that it merges with your own code. Try to see that there is no changes. So GitHub is actually a very powerful tools for developers, especially if you want to collaborate. It is very, 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 very vital. Another thing you need GitHub for is to show off your work to future employers or teammates, just as I said. So, Visual Studio Code. What is Visual Studio Code? Code is a code editor where you actually write your code. Think of it as your Microsoft. You know, for your Microsoft, you write scripts, you type your script on Microsoft. For you to type or for you to write your code, you use Visual Studio. Not just Visual Studio, we have a lot of text editors, and a lot of developers use different text editor. So you look for what works for you and you use it. And some of these text editors are, we have Sublime, we have Notepad, we have Notepad plus plus. And then we also have, and then there are some text editor that's specific for some programming languages. Just like we have Anaconda, we have Python environment, yes. We have I think I've forgotten the one, but we have a lot of code and text editor or code editors. But I advise beginners to use Visual Studio. Reasons because if you're going to be writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript codes, I advise you use HTML so that you have a clean working environment and it's very user friendly. So, what do you do with Visual Studio Code? Use it to create your HTML, your CSS, your JavaScript, and other files. You also use it to run and test your code. After creating your HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, you want to test it. You want to test what you're doing. You want to see the visual. You can use Visual Studio Code to do that. You can also use built-in Git tools. You know, I was calling when I was explaining Git and GitHub, I was explaining the push, the pull, all those stuff. You can use Visual Studio Terminal to do all that. And then another thing is you can add extensions. Extensions like Live Server. Yes, you use Live Server to run your code, to test run your code to see the visual. You can also use Prettier for you to beautify your code, to make your code look more pretty. And then you need GitHub Copilot. It's an AI assistant that helps you when writing your code. So let's get into the installation properly. So first of all, what we need to be installing, we'll be installing Node.js. All right, welcome back. So let's get into it. So the first thing we'll be installing is Node.js. So you come here and you do Node.js.org, or you can just do Node.js download. It will take you to their site. You see this icon here. This is the official website, Node.js.org. So you click on download. Okay, good. It has loaded. So once you click on download, you come here. It will show you the different versions of Node.js we have. What I would recommend is that if you want to install, you install from version 18 upward. Anything less than that, it will not, there's no more maintenance because every day the software is being upgraded. So I would advise, if you want to install for easy and smooth coding, I would advise you install from version 8 19 20, sorry, version 18 19 20 21 to 23. 23 is the current one, but the best one to use, I use 18 or 22. That's what I use. So once you click on the one you want to install, and then you come and you choose your operating system, if it's Windows, if it's MacOS, or if it's Linux. You just pick. I am using Windows, so I'll go for Windows, and then you click on Window Installer. Great, my Node.js is installing. And sorry to say, but a lot of times we use npm, so you just leave the other settings like that. Good. So once you are done downloading it, you don't need to do any other thing. Your code is working, so you just leave it. When we are ready to use it, we'll explain more on that. So the next thing we are going to be installing is Git. So we'll go to the official site git.com to install Git. Once you're on the official site, now you pick your operating system. If you're using Mac, if you're using Windows, Linux, we're still going to use Windows, since mine is Windows. So once you click on that, you click here, you click to download, and automatically your environment will be set. It will download. So I think it's taking time. So while waiting for that, you now do github.com on your browser so that you can create a GitHub account, because you need your Git to link your GitHub. So enter your email. I already have a GitHub account. So you just enter your email, sign up for GitHub, you click it, and then you fill in the form, you put your region, and then, sorry, this error is coming out because I already have an account. Then you click continue. Once you click continue, they'll send you a confirmation email. You confirm your email, and voila, the GitHub account is ready. So let me sign up mine. Let me sign up my own. Okay, so password. Sorry, I think I've forgotten. All right, so this is your GitHub environment. It's still loading. I want it to load so that I can show you how it looks like. But this is the rep GitHub. These are my repository. These are works that I've collaborated with, have worked on, and so I don't know. I think my network is slow. I wanted to show you, but this is it. I'll come back to explain everything to you. What else do we need to install? We need to install our Visual Studio Code. And we have Visual Studio Code is of two. We have Visual Studio, and then we have Visual Studio Code. Just as you can see, this is Visual Studio Code. This is the one I use. You can use either this or this purple one. Yes, where my cursor is. But I advise you use this if your system is not very, if you don't have a lot of space, in on your system and then your system is lagging, I would advise you use this, because this is more heavier than the Visual Studio is more heavier compared to Visual Studio Code. They are almost the same thing, just that the Visual Studio is more versatile. It's more robust compared to Visual Studio Code, but they do the same thing. They do the same thing. So once you click on this, and then you click on download for Windows, I already have it on my system. It's going to download. Once it's done downloading, you go to your download files on your system. When you go to your download files, you click on the file you just downloaded, that's the Visual Studio Code, and then you run as, once you click on it, it will ask you to run as administrator, and then you do that, and then the installation starts. Once you're done with the installation, voila, now you need to now set the environment proper for easy work. So let's go into it. Sorry. All right. Okay. So this is my Visual Studio Code. So this is the interface. This is how the Visual Studio Code is. This is my terminal. This is my terminal. You can actually close the terminal and use your command prompt, or you can also work from here direct. It's more easier if you work from here direct. So here's the interface. You can open a folder, you can open a file, you can clone a Git repository from GitHub. You can connect to your development workspace, and then these are the files I was working with. These are my recent files. So this is extensions. Once you click on extensions, once you click on extensions, you can search for any extension you want to add. And I said we are going to be adding GitHub Copilot. So you can click on this and it will add it, and then we'll add a live server. Yes. So you look for, this is a live server, and then you install it. Yes. So trust, publish, and install. So this is how you install extensions. And then you can also look for Prettier. Prettier code formatter. Yes, so you install it. So this is the Prettier. So once it's done, it will clear up. So if you want to open a file, this is how you do it. New text file, new file. You want to create a new file, you can name your file here, and then once you are done, it will come here, and then you can start coding. Let me close this. This is your coding environment text file. So yes, so this is it. So you can now start writing your HTML code. So you can start writing your HTML code and all that. So and then if you want to push, you can push on your GitHub. You can push to your GitHub. And some of the command tools we have git add, git push, git pull, git clone, and a lot of them. And then you need to first connect your git to your you need to first connect your Visual Studio Code to your GitHub to be able to push seamlessly. All right.
If you've stayed with me till this time of this video, it just proves one thing. You are serious about your tech journey, and I will keep telling you that consistency is the key and tech is the future.